What's up, everyone? Welcome to the 7th episode of the Nothin Show. I'm your co-host, Jamar.
And I'm your co-host, Michael. And we have a jam-packed episode we can't wait to get into, brought to you by Tints R Us.
Do you need top quality, heat-blocking ceramic tints for your car, but you don't necessarily want to pay top price for them?
Yeah, I was definitely in that boat as well as some of my friends. We would always look to get tints, but they'd always end up being too expensive.
Definitely. Top quality tints can be extremely pricey. But luckily for you, your friends, and all of our fans, if you go to Tints R Us and tell them your friends at Nothin sent you, they'll hook you up with a great price.
Yeah, you can find their website at www.tintsrussfl.com.
Or you can reach out to them on Instagram at tintsrussfl.
Just let them know the MBN boy sent you. On this episode, we'll be discussing the Jimmy Butler saga and everything revolving around it, including the beef, trade requests, and trade denials.
We'll also discuss the media day, which happened recently, and training camp, all the quotes that's come from that and all the different storylines, as well as a bunch of other topics that we're excited to debate and get into right now. So let's hop right into it.
Let's go.
This past week has seen a couple of pretty strange storylines. The first one that we're going to discuss is all the news that's been circulating regarding Jimmy Butler. Now, it was reported that Jimmy Butler requested a trade from the Minnesota Timberwolves, and the four-time All-Star is supposedly setting his sights on the Miami Heat. Now, what was your opinion of all the news, everything that's happened, and how do you feel about that?
Okay, so when it first came out and he said Clippers, Knicks, and Nets, I was like, dang.
That first list was so weird.
So what they said it ended up being is 3 large market teams with available space for 2 super maxes, for 2 maxes. So the Knicks, I understood, like, the theory of him and Kyrie. The Nets, I was like, I mean, they've messed it up badly. Look at Boston.
But, I mean, the good thing about the Nets is that they're still in New York. Yeah, I feel like that's the only thing that the Nets have going for them.
If they was the New Jersey Nets,
it's
it's because they play in the Barclays.
Yeah.
And same thing with LA. The Heat, I was like, okay, I think we can get this going. And at first, I thought we were really close to getting a deal. And then it came out that Philly called and Thibodeau asked for Ben Simmons. Like
Ben Simmons in a Jimmy Butler trade with 1 year left on his deal. It's just this season, right?
Yeah.
So essentially, and if he doesn't like Philly, that's a rental.
Yeah.
So essentially, they're asking for Ben Simmons for a rental year of Jimmy Butler.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you this, because, first of all, my opinions on Jimmy Butler, I think 1 year, dating back to when he was with the Bulls, one of those seasons, he was actually legitimately, you could make an argument he was the best two-way shooting guard in the league at that time. Since then, to me, he hasn't progressed as much. He's still definitely a top 5 shooting guard in the league, but I ask you, if he does come to the Heat, what does that change? Because you know my opinion. If he goes to the Heat as currently constructed, it doesn't move their position at all.
Yeah.
In as far as the playoff race.
Honestly, 2 of the bigger things is like his play style and the work ethic is mixes with the Heat culture. As we're seeing right now in Minnesota, it's not working because he's a dog. Because he's a gym rat, and the players they have there aren't on that same tone. Whereas in the Heat, that's sort of like what we push around. And also, since LeBron left, we couldn't even get in the room with Kevin Durant. LaMarcus Aldridge fell apart, and we just haven't been able to get like that superstar, even really get to the talking point. Yeah, so if you could trade for one, and him and Kyrie Irving want to play together, it obviously doesn't guarantee you Jimmy Butler for anything past this year, and it definitely doesn't guarantee Kyrie Irving.
But it's something.
Yeah, it puts you in the ring. If Pat Riley's able to, what he did with LeBron is he put the rings on the table, and he was like, here's what I can do.
But see, the thing is, all of the Heat's inability to grab another star since LeBron really begs the question: was it really Pat Riley that got LeBron, or was it Wade?
Yeah, I think it was Wade. I think
because
it was Wade and a nice mix.
That's what I think too. Because at first it's like, oh, Pat Riley's such a genius. He was able to get Shaq. He was able to get Wade.
Yeah, the Shaq trade was him.
Right. But since LeBron, as you mentioned, they haven't been able to get any big name star.
Yeah.
So now it becomes, okay, maybe it wasn't Riley, maybe it was Wade who was able to get his friend to come play with them.
I think Wade definitely played a big part, but it's also like the hangover effect. No one wants to follow Michael in Chicago. I don't really think anyone really wants to follow.
I actually think they were pretty close to going to Chicago.
Yeah. No, I'm saying like how as soon as Michael retired, no one wanted to be the next like, can you do what he did?
Right.
With like LeBron, like,
which is the same thing. Nobody's gonna be in Cleveland either.
There's one player on the planet. Honestly, like there's maybe 3 players on the planet right now that can sorta get like what LeBron did, but it's,
no one.
No. They can't. Besides Kevin Durant, no one can do it.
No one.
But
not including him.
Anthony Davis can like swing that kind of needle. You feel me?
Like
I feel that. They can move you to that point where it's like, ooh.
But there's one more thing I want to touch on with this Butler topic, and that's the beef he has going on with Andrew Wiggins and his brother.
Yeah.
Now, for those of you that aren't aware, well, first of all, the Minnesota Timberwolves signed Karl Anthony Towns to an extension, and I think that might have had an impact on Jimmy Butler's decision as well, because honestly, Karl Anthony Towns, as I've mentioned to you before, he's not what he should be. He puts up the numbers, but he doesn't have the effect on a game that he should have, in my opinion.
Yeah,
we've talked about how you see him nights before games doing live streams playing Fortnite and silly things like that.
Yeah.
Like, that's not what an all-star, once-in-a-generation player should be doing. So you mix that, and apparently he had beef with Andrew Wiggins' brother, who tweeted out hallelujah after the news broke out that Jimmy Butler requested a trade. I mean, what do you think about all that when you saw it?
It was very confusing. At first, when Jimmy Butler got sent there, I thought it would be great for Andrew Wiggins because it's someone to follow in the footsteps of. Overall, God-given talent-wise, Andrew Wiggins has it over Jimmy Butler.
Kobe said he was a younger him.
The possibilities are endless with Andrew Wiggins. I think him more than any other player in the NBA relies upon
his name.
Yeah,
his reputation from high school.
Yeah, honestly, and the potential.
Yeah,
because at some point, Andrew Wiggins is going to be 8 years in the league, and it's going to be, but he could potentially be Tracy McGrady. He could potentially be this person. And then you have Jimmy Butler, 2nd round pick. Like, no one even looked at the guy and just grinded. Like, if you can't follow his footsteps and it's the same type of play style, I don't know what's wrong with you.
Yeah, Jimmy Butler's story is so impressive.
Yeah.
Coming from homelessness and extreme poverty and to where he is now and having worked for everything. He was under-recruited. It's just a great story.
Everything. And then, so they signed Andrew Wiggins last year, the year before, to 5 years, $150, and Cat last week to 5 years, $190. If Jimmy Butler doesn't mesh with either of them, he unfortunately can't be there from strictly a money standpoint. Like, if that's your cornerstone, like, if you don't mesh with the 2 cornerstones, you can't really be there. And unfortunately, like, that's what it really comes down to.
Definitely.
Karl Anthony Towns, I've heard, talent-wise, amazing. Work ethic, it's sort of like, he sort of like wakes up and he's like, I mean, I don't have to try to drop 18 and 10, so that's what he goes and does. Like, I've never seen him, like, come out and be like, no, I'm going for, like, 30 and 15 a night with, like, 4 blocks. Like, he just doesn't have, like, the intensity factor. He needs that killer. He doesn't have that.
Yeah. It's definitely going to be interesting to see how this whole story plays out.
I hope he ends up on the Heat, though, for sure. So this past week, the NBA had their media day. Every team comes out, they discuss, you have all the press, and we get a lot of storylines, as well as the beginning of training camp. A lot of big things came out in between players, team-wise, roster-wise. What was your biggest takeaway this week?
First of all, I want to mention I love how the NBA does media day. I love that all the teams are at the same time. I love that all the storylines come out together. It really creates like a genuine feel of the season being back, and I love it. So many storylines from this training camp. I think my personal favorite storyline comes out of Cleveland without LeBron James there. Tristan Thompson came out with a quote saying, hey, basically, until anyone beats us, we're still the Eastern Conference champions. We're still the team to go through in the East. we're still the kings of the East, essentially. So, I mean, in my opinion, isn't that the type of attitude that you want your teammate to have, though? Like, I know, okay, obviously, things were a lot different, and we saw players respond like, "All right, buddy, calm down." But isn't that the type of attitude or mindset you would want from a teammate?
Yeah, no, exactly. That I 100% agree with. And I don't fault him for feeling that way. I don't fault him for saying that because it's true.
If I'm a player on the
Cavaliers
Cavs, exactly. If I'm a player on the Cavs and LeBron left, I'd be like, I'm still here.
Yeah.
I won the conference championship too. I'm still here.
JR's like, I can shoot 30 shots now. Ooh. But, yeah, no, it's the mentality you want to have. I think every team should have that mentality. Like, Devin Booker and DeAndre Ayton should come out thinking, okay, we're winning the West. Like, it's just a mentality because the second you admit someone's better than you is the second you lose.
Exactly.
And I like that a lot. No, I also liked what it brought. That
the reactions were
Ben
great.
Simmons was just like,
What?
whatever. And I thought it was funny that he took a shot at Toronto. He's like, we already know what Toronto
Yeah,
is.
he said that was funny too. He said, who was the first one?
He goes, Boston had Game 7 there. We won it.
We won.
Philly almost got swept.
Philly was almost a sweep. Toronto, we know what happened with that. Like,
you'd have to size them like that, but he sized
but at
them.
the same time, each of those series was like Braun going berserk.
Yeah.
Especially Toronto. Didn't he have like 2 game winners in that series?
He had the floater off the bank,
which
coming
was
down the left side,
and he had the turnaround jumper to force overtime.
Yeah. Was
in the first game.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
there was the one game where he
gosh.
just kept catching it, fade away. Catch it.
No,
fade
that
away.
wasn't the same game.
But I'm saying any of that, like the fadeaway was money that series.
Braun was that first game, like the Raptors. Think about it. You've lost to them 3 consecutive years. You're up. I believe they're up double digits in the fourth.
Yeah.
It felt like they were gonna win. The Cavs started making that steady comeback. They're up 2 with like 30 seconds left. You got Braun 1-on-1, and he just hits that fadeaway jumper to force overtime.
Yeah.
And then it ends up being a sweep.
It just ended up being
It's
this.
just
Dwayne
unfortunate,
Casey
though.
just stopped sort of trusting DeMar DeRozan.
So let's shift from his older team to his new team. What do you think about the new look Lakers, and what are your expectations for them?
I am excited to see how they play on the court. When Lance Stevenson was like, I was surprised LeBron wanted me here, and he's like, we've never talked about the blow in the ear thing, but when it happens, it happens. Like, I can't believe he's playing with him. I'm really interested to see Rajon Rondo and LeBron James on the court.
I've wanted to see that for so long.
And also, what can Lonzo Ball take him? Because his play style is Rondo, maybe a little more athletic and more of a shooter. And when you're playing with LeBron, who is the prototypical, that's who you want to be, and Rajon Rondo is the intermediate, it's stepping stones to help you get what you want to go to.
Right.
So what can you intake, and are you going to be like the, oh thank God, let me absorb, or are you going to be like an Andrew Wiggins and be like, nah, I'm gonna do me. You two stay over there. I'm gonna do me. Me and Kuz chilling.
Right. Let me mention that LeBron has never played with a point guard with the caliber of, I was about to say Isaiah Thomas. Oh my gosh. With the caliber of Rajon Rondo. He's never played with that. Rajon Rondo, as far as just his productivity as a point guard, is still one of the top point guards in this league today.
Yeah.
And he's one of the best of all time. I'm not saying top 5, but he's one of the
You're saying pure point guard.
Pure point guards. So that's going to be very interesting to see, because we have seen LeBron say throughout the course of his career that he wouldn't mind playing off ball. And many people think that he can't play off ball, but it's more so, in my opinion, he hasn't had the opportunity to. So now he does. He's mentioned that they run up and down a lot. He's with a younger team. It's going to be very interesting to see how the Lakers pan out. I think, personally, if they're a top 4 seed in the West, I think LeBron wins that MVP.
Maybe.
Simply because storyline. Storyline is such a big part of the MVP thing, too. You look at it, KD leaves the Thunder, Russ averages a triple-double, MVP. Harden arguably could have won the Russ year, got robbed, according to some people, then he wins the next year MVP. Now LeBron, after having 2 separate teams that couldn't get it done in Cleveland during one season, 2 completely different teams, and then now he shifts to LA, and this is storyline to me.
Yeah.
And I also think, when you think about it too, the professional predictions have been like ESPN had the Lakers not even making playoffs. So when you have predictions like that and you grab a top 4 seed in this Western Conference, that's tough.
Yeah.
That's tough.
Yeah, so with the Lakers, I just want to see like how it all meshes and how long it takes to mesh, just because all the different on and off court personalities. I love the picture of Rondo, Lance
JaVale.
Stevenson, JaVale, and Beasley.
Yeah.
I was like, that's a big four.
I like them. Like all of them we've mentioned on a previous show, all of them are solid players. The only thing about them that tarnishes their name is their off-court antics. But all of them are solid players. Beasley has said, whether or not it's true or not is a different story, but he said he's skill-wise, he's on the same level as KD and LeBron.
Your favorite player's favorite player.
Which, again, is false. But JaVale is a solid player. Lance is a dog. Like, they're all solid players. It's just we'll see how they mesh together with all their personalities, like you mentioned.
And also on media day when Wade was talking, like, it was so sad, dude.
This is it. Farewell tour.
But I cannot wait to see one more year of Dwayne Wade. And what else happened on media that was pretty big?
Let me ask you, OKC, Rockets. Who does better this year?
Rockets.
Really?
Better roster.
Really?
Yeah.
So the Rockets got better this offseason?
They didn't get better, but OKC also got worse, and they didn't close the gap.
What? OKC didn't get worse.
Who's their third scorer?
But you don't necessarily need a third scorer. Case in point. Who was the third seed in the West this past season?
It was the Jazz?
No, it wasn't. Damian Lillard.
Oh, and CJ. And what happened? They never third score.
Okay, but they got the third seed in the West without a third scorer, right? Okay. So, in my opinion, I love that they got rid of Melo. I feel like he didn't fit with that team. I feel like he should have came off the bench, which we'll discuss in a later segment. The same thing with the Rockets. But I think OKC got better. I think the Rockets got worse. And I think it's a genuine toss-up between those two teams.
It's also the play style. I'll take the D'Antoni, spread him, shoot him with Chris Paul and James Harden over Russell Westbrook. Head to the basket, head to the basket, head to the basket. Oh, hey, Paul George, here you go. Head to the basket, head to the basket. Like, it's the Russell Westbrook play style that really, every time I want to think the Thunder are going to do something, I see who plays point guard. I see his play style. I see, yes, he gets 10 assists, but the 10 assists is drive to the lane, get within 3 feet, drop it right here.
Right.
Drop it right here, pass to the 3. No one holds the ball. It's literally, Russell Westbrook, give me, I better shoot or I'm never going to get the chance again.
Exactly.
It's his play style really just does so much, but at the same time, like, the two things he needs is just, it keeps him so far away from what he should and could be.
Right.
Like, talent-wise, the man.
Let me offer the same question, but in the East. Between the Celtics, the Raptors, and the Sixers.
I'm taking the Celtics.
You like the Celtics? I can feel that as well.
Kyrie Irving and Gordon Hayward.
But the Raptors got better, didn't they?
They did, but not, like, dramatically.
The Raptors...
But
what do you mean not?
So here's the thing.
They flipped DeMar DeRozan for Kawhi Leonard.
They flipped a top 20 player for a top 5 player.
Okay. So that's dramatic.
But the Celtics added a top 20 player without losing anything. And then you have a healthy Kyrie Irving. Jason Tatum's a year older. Jaylen Brown's a year older. Like, it's the progression of the rest of the team. Because, yes, they got Kawhi Leonard. But the Celtics as a whole, everyone got better.
Personally, I think that it's a genuine toss-up between those two teams. And I think
Philly's on the outside looking in.
Philly's on the outside, exactly. But I also want to say a very, very interesting, sneaky pick is the Charlotte Hornets. Very interesting. I think they have potential to be a future powerhouse in the East.
Kevin Knox, Malik. Oh, no, Kevin Knox up there. It's Malik Monk and who else is out there with him? It's Kemba, Malik, Batum.
I'm forgetting his name right now. He had those 2 putback dunks last night. Miles Bridges.
Oh, that's who. I was getting him and I like Miles Bridges.
You have the feel of like a young, energetic college team with that team.
Bridges
being led by Kemba Walker, who's one of the best point guards in the league.
Yeah, very, very underrated point guard.
Yeah.
Another thing is Markelle Fultz's jump shot looks good again.
Yeah.
Shout out Drew. It looks fixed.
Shout out Drew.
It looks fixed.
I always love.
Money, they're gonna be a problem.
I always love media day and training camp, and man, I just can't wait for the season.
Let's go Heat.
Other news that has been circulating this week comes out of Houston. Now, apparently, the Rockets have intentions of not starting Carmelo Anthony and bringing him off the bench. The potential starting lineup would then be Chris Paul, James Harden, Eric Gordon at the 3, Ryan Anderson at the 4, and Clint Capella at the 5. Personally, I feel as if this is the way they should go. I've been saying since last year with the Oklahoma City Thunder that Melo should be coming off the bench simply because Melo is a volume shooter. He's someone that likes to get his looks up. He likes to get his shot attempts up. And honestly, he can't do that when he's playing alongside Russ or Paul George. He can't do that when he's playing alongside Chris Paul and James Harden. It makes more sense for him. And mind you, for both of those duos, he's the third best player. So it makes more sense for him, in my opinion, to come off the bench to get his shot attempts and to kill second units who aren't at the same skill level as he is. What's your take on all of this?
Follow the Manu Ginobili prototype.
That's it.
Do not start. Kill the second unit. When we need you in the fourth, Melo, you're checking in. Ryan Anderson, hit the bench.
That's it. It's that simple for me. Like, and we've had our conversations. I've felt the same way with the Oklahoma City Thunder. I think they could have been so much better last year if Melo came off the bench.
Yeah. A really big thing is Carmelo Anthony, great shooter, but he's not like a catch and shoot type player. Like
exactly.
He is a player that has to get into the rhythm, like handling the ball, giving like a jab step here, jab step there. Like,
I was just about to say that. He loves to catch it, give a jab or maybe a little reverse pivot, and then pull up. And he's a mid-range shooter too.
Yeah.
Which is not ideal in this.
Yeah,
in today's
it's like a
NBA.
dying breed, and especially with like the Houston play style: layup, dunk, 3, free throws.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah,
we don't take anything else. Chris Paul is allowed to take the mid-range off the dribble because he's the ball handler. And the thing is, how you said, Carmelo Anthony is the third best player on both teams.
Exactly.
He's also the third best offensive player on both teams. So it's different if he was like, if the defense wasn't there, but the offense was still like young Carmelo, then it's like, okay.
I was going to argue that he's the third best defensive player on both teams as well. When it comes to just those three, he's even lower when you bring into account other people's. He doesn't really play defense.
Yeah, it just. I definitely believe he should be coming off the bench. And then, at the end of the game, be getting in the game again. Now, if you get hot, we'll play you the 35 minutes. Like, you'll play around like 27 to 30, but if you're hot, we ride in your hand. Like,
exactly. And I just think it's so much smarter for him to come off the bench. I think it's going to work better for him because he'll get his looks. He'll be able to kill people, like I mentioned before, that aren't on the same skill level as he is, because he's still a very skilled player, but he'll be playing against bench players. Exactly. He'll get his shot attempts. It won't interrupt Chris Paul and James Harden shot attempts. And honestly, I think this is in the best interest of the team, and I think it works great for the Houston Rockets.
Yeah, especially the way they stagger their minutes. Like Chris Paul or Harden's almost in at all times.
Exactly.
So if he meshes with CP more, CP's going to play with him more. If he meshes with Harden more, Harden's going to play with him more. And also when he's on the floor with Harden, he can Harden's able to take it back a step because like, okay, I have another scorer. I can rest a little bit because he does so much for that team the entire game. Like, it's very tiring. Again, I would put Melo off the bench. And when you bring him off the bench, you put him at the 4, right?
3 or 4, depending.
I like EG closing out games too, but he's small.
Right.
That's the biggest issue.
Right.
Like, but
that's
Harden's,
the thing.
But
see, if you need to close a game and you need the offense to close it, you can put Melo at the 4. Yeah. So I think that works. Now it's time for our question from the fan segment, brought to you by Top Notch Signatures. Top Notch Signatures is a leader in the sports memorabilia field. They provide authentic memorabilia of all of your favorite athletes from all the major professional sports.
Top Notch Signatures' mission is for every autograph purchased on topnotchsignatures.com that will donate an autograph to a child in need. Go check out topnotchsignatures.com and make an autograph more than just a...
How you guys doing today? Just want to let you know, me and my dog, Toby, is a big fan of the show, man. We just want to let you guys know, keep up the good work. But my question of this week is, do you think rap or just music in general have an impact on the way the guys play the game. And as you can see, a couple of times before the game, they're practicing. While they're practicing, they're listening to some type of music. You feel the music influence them by the way they play the game. Just wanted to hear that in the next topic. Appreciate it. I hope you guys continue the good work.
Thank you, Jerry, for your question. As we mention all the time, we love receiving questions from our fans and answering them and having this interactive segment of the show. I think this is a very appropriate time to ask this question in terms of hip hop's effect on the modern NBA and its players, because as we saw on Friday, so much new music just got released. Music from Lil Wayne, the highly anticipated Carter 5 album. We had a new Kevin Gates album, a new Logic album, a song from Kodak, and a bunch of other hip hop artists. So I'll pose the question to you first. How do you feel about hip hop's impact on the NBA?
I think the two honestly go hand in hand with each other. I forgot what rapper said it. He's like, every ball player wants to be a rapper, and every rapper wants to be a ball player. And like, yeah, I definitely see that. It is also like the NBA is definitely the most urban league
Definitely.
in professional sports, just because like as you see, pickup basketball is probably the biggest thing anyone can play.
And they're always bumping music in the background.
Kids, and that's how like kids came up on it. Like if you watch any LeBron James Instagram video, he has the newest hip hop going, and you do have a lot of people. You saw Allen Iverson, like the way he dressed. He dresses like the thugs and the gangsters from rap music. No, he dresses like what
they
the
even
culture
enforced
is.
the dress code policies against that as well.
Yeah, like I think the two go hand in hand together. Like they're perfect for each other. It's the music of the streets and like the game that grew from the streets to the NBA.
Yeah, and I think that's a big part of it. Obviously, in a lot of places, as you mentioned, with pickup basketball, basketball is one of the few sports like you can literally just text some people, hey, meet me here. Mm-hmm. Even if you don't have a hoop, you set up a little thing with a circle and you throw around the ball. And a lot of the time, it does occur in the streets where the music is playing, or even if it's in an indoor gym or wherever, people bring speakers.
Yeah.
And I think hip hop definitely has a tremendous impact on the NBA, and I like it personally. I like seeing, if you remember when T Grizzly dropped his song, I forget which song it was, but LeBron put on his story, and then sales rose by whatever percent, and like things like that. That's cool to me, and I definitely appreciate that hip hop's impact in the NBA.
Yes, and like when LeBron James made Kendrick drop Unreleased, Unmastered.
When he tweeted him, he said, "Yo, release those unreleased songs," and then he dropped the whole project. Yeah, that's cool.
I think both just go hand in hand together. Like it's perfect. These past 2 weeks, we've gotten some announcements that players dread to say. This will be my final year playing basketball. It led off with Dwayne Wade saying this will be his final year in Miami to go up with one last ride. It was followed by Udonis Haslem basically in sync saying, I want to go out with my brother. We're going out this year. What are your largest takeaways from their careers as well as what they should expect from their last year?
Udonis Haslem is a staple in Miami, the city of Miami. He's referred to as a legend, honestly, with that team. His number's definitely going to be retired, I feel. He's had a tremendous impact on not only the Heat teams he's been a part of, but Miami culture in general. And I feel like he's respected by everyone that's played with him, and he's definitely going to be missed in that locker room. He might get a position like Juwan Howard type of role, but so I definitely think his impact will be lasting in the Miami community. Wade's is obviously a larger legacy. He's the third best shooting guard of all time. He might be the best, or he's also one of the best defensive shooting guards of all time. He's obviously been a star in this league pretty much since he got drafted, and we already know his championships and his legacy. So Wade is definitely significant as well.
Yeah, so with Udonis Haslem, I think the biggest impact is like what he does for the team off the court, whether it's like working with the players or like motivating them, as well as what he does with the community and just showing like just keep grinding, just keep going, because that's really what he is. Dwayne Wade, again, top 3 shooting guard ever, my favorite player ever, and I think the impact he'll have, just what he did in the finals, his play style, every shot over his shoulder, every time he was hit something not looking, just he suspended your imagination, and you're just like, oh my god. And that concludes the 7th episode of the Nothing But Net Show. We'd like to thank all our fans for all the support and love that you guys show us. We actually just reached a milestone on our last episode, episode 6. We reached 200 views on YouTube, a milestone we've been waiting to eclipse, and we really do love everything that you guys do for us and all the support you show. We'd also like to thank Jerry for his question to us. It was a really interesting question, and we like how these questions have started to revolve more around basketball and like how it impacts the world itself.
Yeah, definitely. To reiterate what Mikey said, thank you all our fans. Hitting 200 was great, and we want to make that a consistent thing. So we want to hit 200 every episode. So make sure you're sharing the show with your friends, your brothers, your sisters, your cousins, everyone. Just share the show to anyone who loves the game of basketball. Thank you to Jared as well. Make sure to like and subscribe to this video at the link right below. Make sure to follow our Instagram page at the Nothing But Net Show, which is the same for our Facebook page. It can be found at the Nothing But Net Show as well. And make sure to follow us on Twitter at the NBN Show. And that's all for today's episode. So thank you guys for joining us. We'll see you guys next time.
Peace.